要往这个方向去努力哦，所以我们一起要爱上人就多说慈济。那多国语言同步口译有没有多重要？是，所以非常的感恩上人在2020 4月25的时候祝福我们空中读书会，我们即知即行。然后
好，非常感恩大家在第一时间跟我们一起。今天是星期三，是高雄线上读书会。
Hello， 有听到我声音吗？
自己，大家一定觉得很奇怪，是不是跑错地方了哈？然后发现这个主持人不一样了哈。先跟大家分享一下哈，因为美云老师她确诊了。
Hello everyone. Good morning. Nice to see you today. I'm Grace. Hi, I'm the sub-host for Teacher Mei because she has diagnosed. So today I'm gonna sub for her. Due to the difference of time and space, not everyone is in the morning right now. So we need to do what we need to do is to wave our hands and say hello, everyone. Okay. So watch our Da TV. It will purify our heart and cultivate our good mind. And we have to watch Da News. That is the very good channel to know the world. And here are the promotion of the very good TV drama from Da TV. So this week we have the new video shows on Da TV in November 6th. So the story is very interesting. Make sure you be there on time and watch with us. You won't miss it. And start from in the afternoon at 1 o'clock. And there are a lot of very good programs on Da TV. And there are some short, we're gonna share these very nice videos from Da TV. And this is a promotion of the importance of being a vegetarian. And we're gonna watch this, one of our brother called Qiu Zongren. He is a diplomatic ambassador. And he is also a vegetarian, and he said, I grew up in a vegetarian family, but for some reasons, I got to live with my grandma in the age of 2. My uncle thought that there wasn't enough nutrition being a vegan. I wouldn't grow up strongly without meat. My uncle threatened me if I can eat one meat, I would be able to get $10. But if I don't follow, if I don't listen to him, he will punish me and he will force me to eat meat. He even lured me to eat them. I was powerless to resist and ate them with tears. It continues until I grow up. My uncle was speechless until I got first place at school. There are so many benefits for my health to being a vegan, especially when I live in Africa, where the vegetable lacking area. My family and I lived there for 7 years, and I survived, and we survived very well in Africa. It proved that there is no problem to be a vegan. The foreign envoys, they might not know my name, but they will always remember an ambassador from Taiwan is a vegetarian Buddha. So they might not know my name, but they know I'm a vegetarian from Taiwan. to save the earth, we have to be a vegetarian. We hope that Teacher Mei will get better soon, and we will see them soon. Here is the Jingzi aphorism. It says that there is no gap between knowing and doing. After knowing the principles, we still need to physically carry it out. Now let's read the following together. Humble but not arrogant, self-esteem and cultivate with virtue. Love unselfishly and be equal to others. Open-minded and mention good manner. Work harmoniously with others. Show good ethic in speech and action. Be enlightened, virtuous with a pure heart. Focus on big principle, not trifle. With this characteristic, we will become qualified fellows, and master will be released. Wish everyone become the ideal talent of master. Let's put our palm in front of our heart and say, Master, please be relaxed. We will be your ideal disciples. So a master will reply to you, you are wonderful. Let's also give a thumb up gesture to ourselves and the one next to you and say, you are great, we are great. Now we have to seize every chance to share good things and say good words. Yes. So if we love Master, we must talk about Tzu Chi more. Yeah, with multinational language and English interpretation, the whole world will be connected. So start from June 3rd. In addition to original Kaohsiung online study group channel, we are adding a new channel with real-time English interpretation. We are welcome you enjoy us every Wednesday morning from 9 to 12 Taiwan times. So please share the following link and access the new English channel. So today is the first week of the month, and our Kaohsiung interpretation team will provide the translation today. So now we have more than 10 different languages of written translation team, not just the not only the interpretation team, but also we have the written translation team. So we work hard step by step, and we will recruit more people to join us. And this is the interpretation team in Japan. So this is the Japanese interpreters. And this is the, we have Kaohsiung team provide the translation today. And I was there today, but today I'm the sub-host. Thanks, everyone. And on the screen, you can see this is the interpretation group in Cambodia. And Cantonese team. And some of them are from Australia, and some from Hong Kong, Malaysia. They are all our Cantonese interpretation team. Thanks for all of them. And this is the interpretation team for Malay. They are all from Malaysia.
马来西亚的淑芬师姐、李玉金师姐、马来西亚的丽恩师姐，还有印尼的冯。
Thanks for all the sisters in
大家可以
Malaysia.
看到哦，其实像马来语跟粤
And
语有很多的
this
不
is
同，
the
不
Taiwanese
仅它翻
team.
译英文，它还翻译马来语，它也翻译粤语哦。好，所以真的是人才很多哈。那今天
And
是
some
第一
of
周，
them
所以我
even
们
can
有我们
speak
傣
3
语哦，台
languages.
语的口译哦，所以常照的爸爸
And
妈
this
妈
is
们，如
Taiwanese
果有上
team.
网的话，也可以听看一下
And
我
if
们
you
台语的口译哈。
if you
那
have
我们高雄的嘉
older
伦师
people
兄，
at
台
home,
东
so
的
they
金杰
might
师兄，
understand
台北的
what
美云师姐，
we have
台中的思
today.
景师姐，
That
宜兰的
is
邱
very
敏师姐，
important.
屏
Everyone
东的
can
美慧师
understand
姐，
our
还有高雄的配方
Dharma
师姐，
teaching.
还有洪素芬师姐哈，台中。好，那么我们接着下来来看一下哈，这有
And
2则的这个
here is
好
the
回应，哎好，这个好
the
回应式的
feedback
效应哈。那这2位呢是我们
feedback from
在
last
泰国
last
哦。那
week.
首先我们
And
先
here is
看
the
哦，
feedback
有
from
一位
Sister
叫
Zheng
做
Rujing
美
in
国的郑
America.
如金师姐哈，
And
讲到
she
福
mentions
利
that
及
there
环
is a
境的
woman
结合，
named
讲的是它的
Zenada.
环
She
境
was
里面
born
应
in
用改
Cuba.
善哈，叫做
And she was a lawyer,
Zaneda 这一位普通话的
Zaneda,
译者
and
哈。
she
这个
was a
Zaneda 呢，
lawyer
以
for
前她是
11
出生在
years.
古巴，那
And
古
she
巴
earned
是一个非常贫穷的
$20
国
US
家哈。
dollars in
那
a
虽然
month.
这个苦读，然
So
后
she
拿到
lived
了
with a big
律师的
family
执
and
照，
they
然
have
后
a
也
very
在古
tough
巴
job,
住了
tough
很多年，
life.
可是每一个月的月薪啊才20块美元，不到1000块台币。那一家人怎么生活呢？所以在因缘聚会之下，他们全家
So
人
in
到了美国。那到了美国
2002,
呢，
they
因为
were
陆
so
美运美
lucky
国的
to
学历
pass the
所以
lottery
求学
draw
哈，
from
所以呢
America
2个
Immigration
人在政府
Office.
厂里面去
They
实习。
owned a green car
那
and
有了
moved to
这新的
America
环
with
境之
her
后，没想
husband
到
and
他
sons.
家的师兄
In
真
their
的是
early
非常
year in
的
America,
做
they
事
have
又
no
快
money
又
and
又
education
有毅
background.
哈。
She
那他
found
们
a
就自己
cleaner
就做
job
出
in
了这
casino,
2个
and
小
she
孩。
felt
那这样子
so
呢，就让他的
blessing
人生呢
when
陷
she
入了
got the
一个
first
这个时
salary
候，我们美国
with
的这个如
$1,000.
金师姐她就出现了。
Zaneda
那
has
因为
never
她的
thought
西
about
班牙
helping
语
people. The
讲
only
的也
thing
不
that she
多，
wants to do is
所以
to
呢就
change
替
her
她常
life.
常为谈。
She
但是
thought
呢，她
her
很擅
husband
长发
was
现，
same,
就
but
送给这个
unfortunately
Zaneda
he
一
has
本
an
很
affair and
像的
end
这
up
个
they
近思语。
divorced.
没想到呢，这本近思语呢，就改变了这个 Zaneda 她
She was very
她的人生。
depressed and
所以
weeping
当我们讲到
silently,
说
and
要学
Sister
西
Ru
班
Jing
牙语的
tried
这
to
个
comfort
口
her,
译的
but
时
the
候，
only
她第一个
Spanish
想
she
到的
can
就说，
speak
哎，
were
可以去
a
经营这个
simple
南
like
美。
don't
所以呢，
cry,
当
be
她在加入我
happy.
们的比喻
Thanks
传承
to
之后，她有
Master
因缘
Jing's
去合作的时候，
aphorism
她的
translate
心，
in
她的心非常
Spanish,
细致
and
的
she
哦，所
loved
以
to
心她
read
看
it,
起来就非
and
常的
that
细。
give
所以
her
呢，
a
让她呢
positive
感觉到说，
energy.
从乐
Turn
观
to
的角度
sadness
进
into
入到力量，一
mindfulness.
步一步成
By
为一个
reading
善
Jing's
意的好王。
aphorism, she is
好，那这
now
个
wiser
再
to
过来，我
face her
们看到
life.
舒涵师姐。
And now
没
she
错
is
哈，
our
这个呢，
volunteers
她是这
and
个粤
also
语
our
的
written
口译的
translation
第4
team
周哈。她
members.
说她的
So
主
that
题，她
was a
说智
very
慧
great
达成哈。她讲到的是什么？她讲到的
experience.
是得体
Another
这个
feedback
位
from
置哈。
Sister Yang
那因为德静师
Su-han,
傅
she is our
在5
Cantonese
月28日的时候
interpreters,
有
and she
线上
says
做
that
分享。她说
I
这
was
个德静师傅分
appreciate
享
to
说，她
interpret
跟慈济的
the
因缘呢，
story
就好
of
像
Master
在
De
收
Jing,
听这个电台哈。
the
因为在做
incredible
一个频
affinity
道，只要
between
做频道
Master
呢，
De
就
Jing
因为这
and
样认识
and
了
Tzu
慈济，
Chi.
然后呢，认识慈济之后呢，就
Master
这
De
样子
Jing
跟
was
一
an
辈子哈，连
impatient
接
and
上人就
speak
成为
loudly
一秒钟一辈
personality.
子。那德静师傅分享说，他在金舍20年
She
了，
faced
经
many
过了最难
troubles
试
and
过的是4个
difficulty
山头。
during the
他说当
practicing
时啊，一开
period,
始的时候，德
and
静师
she
傅
has no
非常没有
confidence
自信，
and
觉得自己
useless.
没有什么长处，而且很沮丧哈。
And
可
Dharma
是呢，
Master
当德
Zheng
静师
Yan
傅到
even
这个金
taught
谷的
her
教学
to
的
be
时候呢，
calm
过
and
去的这
speak
些经验跟
smoothly.
经历啊，就变
And
成
she
他
has
最
been
大的助
worked
力。
14
那
different
是什么
area
历
in the
练呢？
past
就是为了
years
这个
in
解决
Jingzi
这些
board.
风尘哈。
She
那听完
learned
这
to
个德静
smooth
师傅
her
的分享，
sharp
我
edges
们
and
舒涵呢，
accumulate her
接着之后呢，
experience
他也
from
会很
every
努力的反省
practicing.
自己哦，让
I
自己
learned a
能够
lot
影响
from
自己，
Master De
建
Jing,
立
and
一个
I
智
should
慧。
work
所以人在
harmoniously
做事
with
就有智
others and inventory the value of life. Thanks for all the positive people around you, and we will always give you a hand. They will always give you a hand when you are down or scared. So this is our return translation group from Malaysia.
易化师兄、澳洲的后玉师姐、郭玉梅师姐，还有瑞珊师姐哈，大家一定会感觉到说，哎，有一些名字刚刚都已经练过了，没有错。
Yeah.
这些名字，这些
So some of them even they are the English or Cantonese interpreters. They also return team, return translation group. So there are so many talents in Tzu Chi. So thanks all the brothers and sisters because your efforts. And here is the feedback, the message that we have from last week. And last week we have some troubles that happened on our Facebook, but actually that we received totally 180 message, and we share 150 times. So even we have a little trouble last week, but we did a very good job at the end. And these are the feedbacks that we received from the reader around the world. And most of them say that we are grateful to have the opportunity to listen to all this sharing from volunteers in this platform. And a lot of people mentioned that Teacher Meiyun's voice was tired last week. So we hope that she will get better soon and take care of herself. And we love Teacher Meiyun. Make sure that we hope that she will come back soon. So these are the messages that a positive message that shows on our Facebook and our YouTube. And here is the feedback from people, from the reader. The message for Sister Wang Yiting. Your guide reading section was excellent. The charity work from Thailand volunteer inspiring, where care recipient become donating member to help others. So that is so touching. And this message for Lin Qiguo and Fu Yuran, Sister Fu Yuran, a lot of feedback from them, and happy and harmonious big family, and they follow Master's teaching closely in their family and business. They are good role model. So we understand the respect and understanding is important from your speech. So these are the feedback from the readers. They are very harmonious family. The message from Facebook. And the message from the message for Tzu Chi volunteer in Poland. The volunteers in Poland have done so much and brought way of hope to the suffering people in Ukraine world. So many messages that we hope, we pray the war in Ukraine can be ended as soon as possible. So grateful able to listen to the real life experience of Poland volunteers. Their sharing reminds us not to take peace for granted and cherish everything. And this is the YouTube message. The Sister Effie says that the
这个李锦淑她讲，她说辞职师姐你好棒啊，手艺跟用心无人可以比，好赞叹哈，辞职师姐第一名哈。好，然后呢，这里也是哦，这个像姚石金。
So this is Sister Effie's message.
然后长春的刘春芝也讲，哈，说我们本来正沉浸在。
So Effie says that the cycle of loving kindness illuminates to everyone participating in the relief aid distribution, holding each other hand tightly and with warmth.
Indeed, the video is filled with warmth and deep family bonding, deeply rooted values of unity and harmony. They follow master's teachings very closely.
This is Sister Effie, her message. The volunteers are inspiring. Where care recipient donating member become a donating member. So all the message we receive, we will pass to the speakers. And no matter where we are, your message will encourage all the speakers. So give us a lot of good, positive message that we will encourage all the speakers. And now you can see the cute picture drawn by Elizabeth from Malaysia. And Sister Ran Siying made a bowl that she drew to pass on Dharma lineage. Let's take a look at her cute picture. It's very detailed and so blessing. Our donation of lottery lots. Until now, we have a lot of lotus. Now, let's get on to the next section. We're gonna call out.
一个描述一个像哈，而且上一周非常感恩的是哈，你看哦，他说我们在回家的路上，他不仅把这些菩萨每一个都画出来，他还陈述了，他还讲了一些故事，所以非常用心哈，感恩我们的这个
Now today
心灵师姐。
we are going to
我们看一下上一周不得了。
start our call out. Where are we going to bring you to meet our volunteer? Today we are going to meet our volunteer in Dominic. I would like to introduce our volunteer.
好，接着下来我们要call out，今天要带大家到哪里去呢？今天要带大家到这个多米尼加哈。好，多米尼加呢，我们先来看一下这一段的影片哈，让大家了解一下慈济人在多米尼加的。
Miss Zhu Ciyao, she's
有机会回乡。
chief of Tzu Chi in Dominic. After she married there, she volunteered. Maria used to be the resident to accept our helping, but now she becomes one of our volunteer. Let's have a look in this video. The priest here, these are the Catholic priest, but they join our Tzu Chi Foundation's activities in Dominic. And even during the great pandemic, the situation is very serious there, but they also devote themselves to help the relief. We can see from this video that's our volunteers. She was doing the relief to the local people. And now we are going to see this video. The cute students, they are from the Garbage Mountain in Dominic. Actually, they are not rich, but they our Tzu Chi volunteer help them to improve their life. Tzu Chi Foundation were helping them to build the elementary school there and 2 decades passed. More and more students, they graduated and they come back to help us. This is our volunteer chef, Miss Zhu Ciyao, on the video. And our volunteer Peng used to get our help, and after he graduated from our Tzu Chi Elementary School, he becomes one of our volunteers and join us to help more people in need. Do you notice that one of an Asian girl, she's the volunteer, she speaks Spanish fluently. I would like to introduce you. She is not only the chef of our Tzu Chi Dominic, she's also our documentary volunteer there. And she also joined our interpreter team and the translation team, both English and Spanish. So now, let's welcome her. I like to be with you because you have the positive energy. Okay. Hello. Hello. Our chef, Miss Ciyao. Hola. Hola is the hello in Spanish. I'm from Dominic. I'm very grateful that I have the chance to meet you on our Kaohsiung online study group. And I would like to introduce, I have prepared some PowerPoint and I would like to share what we have done in Dominic. And I think everybody know hola because it's very familiar to say hello in Spanish. But do you know among the world how many countries speak Spanish? The answer is 21. I used to have the chance to speak Spanish during studying in university. And in few years later, if I graduated, my wish come true, and I have the chance to speak Spanish every day. And you can see on the map, these are the countries which speak Spanish. We know that during pandemic, the whole world changes. And in our team here, we start to build up a Latin America oration. And we contact all of the volunteers in Latin America. And we start to do something. We're gathering everybody together and we will start to see the video of our Master Zheng Yan's preach and the daily journal of Dharma Master Zheng Yan. And then we will have the experience sharing. Early, you know that our volunteers people from all over Latin America, but it's really not easy for our Spanish volunteer to do the interpreter and the online translation, because actually we need our volunteer from the US to translate all the documents to work together. Even in the US, we have so many volunteers from Dominic, Mexico, and Ecuador. Volunteer Xin Yun and her family join us to the online interpreter team too. So 1 year later, we collect a lot of articles, and this June, the teacher Meiyun tell us that we can gathering everybody's work and upload it to our Jingsi Heartland website. And you know, in our Jingsi Heartland website, there are so many language translation. But for our team, it's okay for us to do the interpreter. It's okay for us to do the translation. But the most difficult for us is we have no idea how to upload what we have done to the Jingsi Heartland. So I would like to show you. You see the cifra here. What is the 167? 167 is the bookmark. It's a small card that we translate from our Mr. Chen from Chinese to English, English to Spanish. So later on, we just divide our team to two groups. Part of our volunteer do the translation, and another part of our volunteer response to upload all of the study card to our Jingsi Heartland website. We're really grateful that we have so many people helping us. Actually, I would like to mention about one volunteer from Guatemala. She is you see from this video, Tzu Tian, our volunteer, Miss Tzu Tian, she's almost 70 years old, and she is not so familiar to do the online to upload the data, upload the data to our Jingsi Heartland website. But our volunteer helps her, and you see these beautiful cards. All are the translation after editing and translate by our team, and we can see Mr. Zhang Yuan's preach and the nice words on it, and all our people here, all our volunteer can see this every day, and we can spread it and share it to our friends easily by this card. And I would like to tell you that our Spanish interpreter team, every week we will translate the articles from Chinese to English, English to Spanish, and we also upload it besides not just the Jingsi Heartland, also our Facebook, the Spanish, in Spanish version. And beside this article, our volunteers from the Latin American team, we know there's a difficulty. Most of the people here, they are not so used to read articles. They are more familiar to see the video. Therefore, we figure out a good way. We just edit our Mr. Zhang's teaching to video and upload it, and we also do the dubbing and then upload it to our Jingsi Heartland. So it's easier for our local volunteer and the local people here in Latin America to understand Mr. Zhang's teaching. Besides, we also upload the video of the Master Tell Stories and the daily journal of Dharma Master Zhang, and Master Zhang's teaching, Master Zhang's preach, so on. So we upload all of these video and in our Latin America Jingsi Heartland and our Facebook, and we are trying our best to sharing all of these documents and share all of these videos to the people here, and we wish that our volunteers here has the same chance, and at the same time we can learn as much as the volunteers from all over the world. And so today I'm grateful that we have the chance to share what we have done. And if you have friends, they speak Spanish, I would like to invite you to join us to sharing the link, our Tzu Chi Facebook website in Spanish and our Jingsi Heartland website in Spanish version. And here we would like to invite our teacher Meiyun. She has something would like to share to give the good feedback to our volunteer, Miss Zhu Ciyao. I'd like to be with you because you have the positive energy. Hello, Miss. Our teacher Meiyun. Hi. Nice to meeting you. Nice meeting you. Hi. Now, everybody here is waiting for you. Yes, we hear you now. Yes. Yes. Okay, we can hear you. We can see this special thing that you can see me and see our volunteer Qiuyu and our volunteer Ciyao. It's so nice to see you online. Today I'm not able to show in live, but I stay at home, but I try my best to join you. Why we invite Ciyao to sharing that what the Spanish volunteer team they have done in Latin America, because most of the people we have no idea why we are going to organize so many volunteers from over the world in different language. Actually since last year, our volunteer Ciyao, after she gets the information from Mr. Zheng Yuan, she starts to build our Spanish team. But actually at the first, nobody knows that we are going to organize a Spanish team, a Spanish translation team. But after 11 months, I would like to share you what we have done. So I contact with volunteer Ciyao. So we tidy up everything we have done, all the translation in Spanish and also in different languages. And we share it to Master Zheng Yan. And our Master Zheng is so proud of us. And today is November 2nd. And the very first time of our interpreter and the translation team starts to work, it has been 1 year. The first day we tried this was last year, 2021, in the November 3rd. So until today, it's just exactly 365 days. So we are very proud to share you what we have done. If you have chance to see the website of our Jinsi Heartland, in this website, you can see the different logo. And different logos means different languages. There are more than 19 different kinds of languages. And choose the language you're familiar. Then you can see the translation from our volunteers from all over the world. Some translation groups is awaiting to be upload their information. Actually, it's not difficult for us to do the translation, but what is hard for the volunteer is it's not easy for them to upload what they have done out of the articles to the Jinsi Heartland. Actually, today I would like to mention about that in Latin America. In our volunteer Ciyao, they have already done some translation in the video of Mr. Zheng Yan's teaching. So they upload this to the Jingsi Heartland website. So here you can see their video. And today I would like to invite all of you to join us and to achieve the goal what Mr. Zheng Yan tell us, to share the volunteer and the people from all over the world. They have the chance to know what we have done by checking the website of our Jingsi Heartland. Here I would like to tell you our Latin American volunteers, they upload the video because this is exactly what local people need. And it's an easier way for local people to see Mr. Zheng Yan's teaching by video. So, for example, me, I don't understand about Spanish, but I can try to check their website to learn how our Latin America volunteers they have done to upload their informations, not just the articles, but also the video. And it doesn't matter if you understand language or not. The most important is that we check online what they have done and the way how they achieve that. Then we can improve our own part. So actually, it's really nice. It's nice for us to share our Tzu Chi words news to more people by different language. You can just copy this link and share it to your friends and from all over the world. And all the friends and volunteers from the world, they can choose the language they're familiar to understand and to have the chance to know Mr. Zheng Yan's preach. I'm so glad that we have achieved the first goal that Mr. Zheng Yan told us. We have finished this first part, so I'm so proud to share you what we have done in the past 1 year. It's nice to see Teacher Meiyun. I'm sure she's getting better soon and looking forward to meet her next week online again. Thank you, our volunteer Ciyao, and thank you, Teacher Meiyun. Now I would like to share you the good feedback. If you join our Kaohsiung online study group and you see what we have done and would like to give us some good feedback, you are welcome to use your cell phone to sign in either YouTube or Facebook and to give us some good feedback. You know, there's no border on the internet. We have the volunteers Meiyun, Xu, and also other volunteers online. They would like to greet to Teacher Meiyun and wish her recover soon and coming back to us soon. So, if you have something to, I know everybody miss Meiyun also already. So if you have something would like to tell Teacher Meiyun, you can leave your message on YouTube or on Facebook. And I think Teacher Meiyun can get your greetings. Today, our team, our volunteer from Japan, she say it's nice to have our volunteer Qiuyu to going on to Teacher Meiyun's work, and today's you doing well. Here, I would like to share you one good feedback from our volunteer, Zheng Yi. She says, thanks to the modern technology that there's no border on the internet. So it's so easy for us to sharing Mr. Jian's teaching in different languages. You know, it's never easy to translate the articles from Chinese to English, from English to other different languages, for example, Spanish or German. But everything's doing well. We are trying our best in nowadays to keep the knowledge front and the teaching from Mr. Zheng and the heritage and transform it, pass it to our next generation. And also, I would like to share this sharing from our volunteer Xingling. She's from the UK. She said everybody's a small firefly. At the first, I have some difficulty to share my experience because I think I haven't done as much as other volunteers, but I have the chance and I start to build my self-confidence and I start to learn how to share and my feeling and what I have done. And I would like to share one more feedback that from our volunteers in the Zhonghe Hospital. They are making the handmade owl dolls to selling, and all the income they will send it to the Ukrainian refugees and the people in need. And besides, I would like to share you the good feedback from our volunteer Pei Li from the ITV. She says that it's so great achievement that all of you, the volunteer from different languages, without you, we are not able to pass and share messages preached to over the world. So every one of you is very important. I'm grateful to have all of your selfishness devote. And besides, I would like to share you one more feedback from our Peng Yu. She says she was the guest in October 19. At the first, she had an accompanying to join our sharing online study group. But then, one day before, she realized that she only have one people. Okay, so.
And ladies and gentlemen, now it's time for us to have a read on the Master Zheng Yan's footprints. And who's going to be our guiding reader today? And we have Yu, and she's young. And if you have anything that you would like her to do it, and she will just say yes in no time. And let's give her a big hand, and we will have Ruyu with us today. And thank you, Mr. Zheng Yan, and all the volunteers online. And good day. And I like to read with you about Mr. Zheng Yan's footprint. And I really love the 6 Chinese characters, which are vegetarianism, and a veggie heart, and a veggie concept. And here I show you the pictures, which is a beautiful city, okay, Kaohsiung. And we really have a kind of a beautiful places and a lot of concert halls right here. And it belonged to like a Kaohsiung harbor, so it was really prosperous there. And this was a very, very popular business zone there. And we had a lot of indented houses, and we could buy a lot of like imported goods. However, the business just went like slow and declined. And in 1981, and they gained like safety. I mean, they gained a usage license there. And what I'm talking about is a building, okay, and it gained the usage license in which we had like cinemas and we had hotels. And as we know that this building was just burned out last year, and it was named Chenzhongcheng Fire, which took a lot of people's lives. And the fire happened in like a midnight, around 2. And when it happened, and a lot of Tzu Chi volunteers just send a lot of like goods, like mineral waters and food to the people in there who need them. And we have a lot of like a volunteer also doing the ceremony, blessing ceremony there. And let's take a look at the film here. And Tzu Chi volunteers send up the hot coffee to the firefighters who help out the Chenzhongcheng disaster. And he was the first volunteer arriving there at the disaster area. I just heard the bomb, okay? And I realized it was on fire. Then I just rushed to the building. And he went there without fear. And after him, a lot of more volunteers just came up continuously. And I just went to the convenience stores and bought a lot of mineral waters for like firefighters to quench their thirst, right? And some people were in fear and they just rushed out without bringing anything. And Tzu Chi volunteer therefore came over to the fire, like building there, and we gave out the comfort. And I saw it, and I felt comforted. And they are the living bodhisattvas. And thank you all the volunteers. And where there are disasters, and there are Tzu Chi volunteers. And the Chenzhongcheng, the building was damaged. And now the land over there is gonna be the park in the future. And because of this disaster, our government now is planning to do more like plans for the future. And as you know, that the people who live here are usually underprivileged, and they are like poor people, for example. So a lot of people also care very much about the public security and the safety inspections in that area. And this fire happened because of a quarrel between a couple, and because of the ignorance, and it caused a big disaster that took like 46 people dead and 43 people injured. And I want to say that if we have a positive mind, and this is very important, let's not go deviant in mind. I think this is a concept that I just mentioned, and we think positively, and we can mitigate disasters. And now, I think we are all wearing masks, right, because of COVID-19. And such an influence has been going on for over 3 years, right? And I'm very grateful to Taipei Tzu Chi Hospital. And they mentioned that through scientific studies, and 73 of the elderly people who adopt vegetarianism can avoid severe disasters. And this study was done through Yizhen, and she is a nutritionist, and she also awarded the Medical Education Research Award. And we say she is a great healer, of course, right? Vegetarianism is super important. And vegetarian shows the great love and the complete love. And it's been almost 3 years that since COVID-19 just began breaking out. And the Master Zheng always wants us to take a vegetarianism, and let's take a film. And this is why we are advocating vegetarianism. And only by eating a vegetarian diet can we have a clear air. In all, people need to be vegetarian. In eating a meat diet, look at how many animal lives are taken because of humans' cravings for meat. a lot of livestock are raised. And every day, we need to feed up to 8 billion people. And how much food is eaten by a person every day? Recently, I have been talking about this every day. I know that when I give a talk, and Tzu Chi volunteers around the world would just listen to my talk online. I always advocate vegetarianism. Do people know how many animals are killed for food in a second? The UN has provided statistics, and the number of animals killed are just shocking. Don't just hear the number and just forget it. We have to remember the number and think carefully about it. 2,556 animals being killed every day, which means that more than 200 million animals are killed. It's shocking, right? And how many animals need to be raised so that we can satisfy people's cravings, right? And Mr. Zheng says that we have to remember the numbers, don't forget it. And actually, the number of 2,556 animals being killed, actually now it is more than that, a lot more than that. And some people say COVID-19 is going to an end. However, Mr. Zheng says recently that we still have climate changes, right? And the climate clock in New York says that we human beings have only the last 6 years. And can you imagine what the 6 years mean to them? After 6 years, then we have to face big disasters. Ladies and gentlemen, 6 years left. How do we know it's 6 years? And it is calculated through the carbon emission. And let me tell you, taking vegetarianism is the #1 thing to cure the world. We have only 6 years left. We don't say 60 years. And let's take a look at the Yizhen town in Cambodia. In Myanmar, I'm sorry. And he insisted not killing insects when he was planting his field. And he always says good things to the so-called pests. Therefore, he has a wonderful harvest, not killing any lives. And let's say, what is Dharma? Okay, in the picture, we have all the volunteers performing the sutra adoption, right? And why are they so neat? Why do they look so neat? Because we have already set up the line for them. And either it's just like the ink fountain, and we set up the criterion for them. And the criterion means the rules. And if we don't follow up the criterion, then can we just act so neatly? No. And the criterion means the Dharma. So we put the Dharma in mind, but we have to act it out. Otherwise, the Dharma is just like the teachings. Teachings means nothing. And Mr. Zheng just mentioned this is so hard, urgently and carefully, but do we really put them in mind? And we are doing a sutra performance in the end of this year. So I think we really have to take vegetarianism. Thank you very much. And this is really important for us to take vegetarianism. And now let me share with you the grand lesson. And I think eating takes the very big part. And the vegetarianism is the only way for us. So we not only have to take vegetarians ourselves, we also have to promote it to people. And thank you, Ruyu. You did a wonderful job, right? And speaking of vegetarianism, and I have something to share with you. Can you imagine that the children in Da'ai kindergarten also uses like a Jingshi product and make like snacks for Master Zheng Yan when Master Zheng Yan was in Kaohsiung last week. And let's take a look about how the children like give the snacks to Master Zheng Yan. And the snacks is kind of sweet, but we also have sugar-free ones. And is it sweetened or not? And it is a little bit sweet. It looks beautiful. And children just handmade the snacks to Grandmaster Zheng Yan as a surprise. And this is a tea bag, and you add water and 600 cc, right? You are wrong, Master. And this is the love. And what is love? Because we love Grandmaster Zheng Yan. And this is a snack that I have never tested. You are so considerate. All the children are not only love spreaders, and they just spread the love and promote donations and collect all the coins for Master Zheng Yan to do the good deeds, right? And do you message your grandmom very often? Yeah. And I think we can also do something as a devote and dedicate ourselves, right? Doing good deeds. And let's give all the children a big hand. Well, and when I talk about the tea bag, and it is the golden buckwheat tea, and it is we have a different flavors, and we have a sweetened, and we have a little bit sweetened, and we have a non-sweetened. See how pure the children are, right? And now today it is time for the catchy phrase. And this week, and it's like a Fan Shenzhong from the United States doing the catchy phrase, right? And it is a kind of a great team that we have a lot of members in the United States, including Zhang Cijin, and we have volunteers from China, okay? And we have Chen Guanting, Wang Hui, Liu Chunzhi, and we have Zhou Ruixin, and we have Guo Liangjun from Canada, and Yanli from Mongolia. And they are wonderful people, and they are talented, and they can do the catchy phrase really fast. And let's go. And Wang Yiting shared the stories of volunteers' life that does a lot of Tzu Chi volunteer. And Lin Qiguo and Fu Yulin were refugees from Laos, but they did great works in Tzu Chi. And the team in Poland, okay, also did a wonderful job in their own country, right? And we have also Wang Hui in Shandong, and we have Wang Yiting, and she did a wonderful job. And we have also, a couple, Qi Guo Yuan, they did a wonderful job in Tzu Chi. And the 4 generations of him are doing greater jobs in Tzu Chi. And we have 9 countries of volunteers who did a great job taking care of the refugees in Europe. So let's read the catchy phrase by Fan Shenzhong. Let's go. Wang Yiting shared the stories of a volunteer's life that does a lot to Tzu Chi, taking balance of her family responsibilities of family. My careful issue was to be able to give those in need. And Lin Qiguo and Fu Yulun were refugees from Laos and upholding principles, but they were leading. They were early donors to Tzu Chi hospitals. And the team in Poland shared their stories of eating the Ukrainian fleeing to conflicts. Then that is Chen Shuwei. And Zheng Cilu taking absence from work in the Netherlands to dedicate herself in Poland. And You Cizhi from Australia brought Taiwanese cuisine to Poland to share with the volunteers abroad. And we have Chen Huiru. She witnessed all the disasters because of a distribution. And that's sum up for them in Poland for their sharing spirit. Really shows us the true meaning of the one family. So let's give a big hand to the Catchy Phrase team and say you're wonderful. Catchy Phrase team, you are so wonderful. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. And now, do you know that it is going to be very wonderful presentation And we have a great healer who is busy, but there he is. And we have Dr. Zhang Jianhua.
So that's watch the videos. So looking at the picture in her cell phone, she thought about the moment she almost lost her babies. I cannot catch on my breath. And then the doctor kept teaching me how to breathe, but I cannot do it. I was in such pains, and later on, I was unconscious. So 4 days after she gave birth, she was in coma and unconscious, and she was brought to the hospital. So by the time she arrived at the hospital, she already lost her vital signs, and so we installed the ECMOs. And so we also performed several times of defibrillations. And after that, she started to gain the heart rhythm back, and she started to move and also gain her conscious. For saving a life is to save the family. And for the lady, she says she just gave birth to babies. So how to benefit the societies? The brand new space with a sterile space, it was a better image. A hybrid operation room was put into formal use since April. Like in Dalin, we also set up the brand new equipments like this hybrid operation rooms. Within 3 months, we were able to perform almost 500 cases, major surgery like acute aortic dissection, coronary artery bypass surgeries, or the dialysis fistula surgeries. We needed very advanced equipments. So within 3 months that we performed almost 500 cases of the major surgeries. And when the patient was brought into the hospital, we were able to perform the diagnosis and the treatments and the surgery in time. And we can shorten the time to save the life. So with this image, you can make the vessel 12 times. And 2 years ago, so we starting to perform the laparoscopies. So with the colorectal cancer treatments, we have a higher survival rate than the other hospital. So with the talents, doctors, and the brand new equipments, we can save lots of lives. And the following video is very touching. Well, the 62-year-old patient, he's a patient of the silent hypoxia. He could collapse any time. And after 19 days of the treatments, he was ready to discharge the next day. But the next day, his discharging runs happened to be his birthday. So before he discharged, the medical team prepared a little cake for him that he can start his brand new life. So it's write down happy birthday on the cake. And on the day he discharged, we brought in the cake and also sing birthday songs to him that we celebrate he to be reborn. And during the treatments, all the medical team was very touching. They encouraged me a lot, and they even bought the little cake for me and took picture with me. I was so grateful about this. With all the sincere blessing from the patients, from the doctors, this is the best gift for him. As a surgical doctor, are you busy? Of course you are. But with the treatment, with our charities, and this doctor is very touching and very talented. So let's welcome our cardiac surgery department, the chief of the cardiac surgery department, Chief Zhang Jianhua. his name is, it means a lot because he's so talented. He's willing to challenge a lot of new techniques. So, but Zhang, I have a question for you. How will you attend this competition, the athlete competitions? So at that time, I was thinking with the habits of the exercise, I used to swim and I run and I ride a bicycle very frequently. So if you combine all three kinds of exercise altogether, it seems like very challenge. So that's why I attend these competitions. I think it might be also an assistant because his job is as a surgeon. Once the operation started, it usually takes hours to finish the operation. So the longest surgeries is around probably the surgeries from midnight. If it's an urgent surgery, we will start the operation since 8 o'clock at night until the next day mornings. So you really need a lot of energy to be able to perform the surgery. And I was wondering how come you're also interested in our histories. So personally, myself is very interesting. And besides the medical textbooks, I also have a lot of books about the history to understand more about the people in the past, how they conquer the difficulties. He's a very talented person, and for very touching things is that he just married. He happened to meet the patients, and because he want to raise the fund for the patient's medical expense. So the doctor donated all of the money that they received through their weddings. So in our hospital with the doctor like this, he's not only treating the patients, he is also very touching with a warm heart, with his compassion all combined together. He is really the blessing for our patients. So like last year when Taiwan was with the epidemic, the 3 degrees alert, a lot of patients cannot fit in Taipei, but in Dalin, Tzu Chi, we also had this special room to take care of those COVID-19 patients. So we really, so that's led the Chief Zhang Jianhua to share his stories. Mr. Zhu, the Master from about all the Tzu Chi families. Good day. I'm Zhang Jianhua. I really appreciate our host that introduced me in such a good ways. And what I'm trying to share with you is the minimally invasive surgery and a transcatheter aortic valve implantation. What I would like to share with you is the reason that I came to Dalin Tzu Chi. Why would I choose the cardiac surgery departments? Because how the traditional cardiac surgery turn into the minimally invasive surgeries. So a lot of time we see the news, we saw it on the news with like from the news, the patient during the meeting, and they certainly suffer from the acute heart disease or the stroke. And the family fighting with saturated, so the father certainly has a heart attack, or due to the peripheral arterial occlusion that causes a lower extremity stroke. With all this urgent emergency surgery, and most of them they were part of the cardio surgery because they're all criticals. So when I was at the medical schools, personally, I like to put it in practice. I just see the effect right away. So at that time, maybe the surgical department I'm more interested in the surgical departments, and also the other lots of departments. Like nowadays, the most popular department is the plastic surgery departments. But we are very different compared with the plastic surgery departments. When I was an intern, I was in the I was learning in the hospital, and I saw the patient. She was so pretty, and she walked into the hospital, and she was so worried about that. My eye bag. There's a black shadow in my eye bag, and we really take a very good look about her eyes, and there was a swelling in under your eyes. It seems like that was caused by the lights because it's the shadows under your eyes. But at that time, this is really not a critical condition. And do you know there's a lot of patients in the emergency room that were waiting to save their lives. So I really have no patience to deal with such a minor problem. That's why I choose to be cardio surgery departments doctors. For as a cardio surgeon, if I wasn't there, and the patient might lose his life. So this is what I can say proudly. Like in the emergency surgery, we classify that in 3 levels. With the A level, that is within 30 minutes, we need to treat the patient within 30 minutes. And usually, the cardiac surgery is a critical department. And the gynecologists, if usually the pregnant ladies, they were having the problems during the deliveries. And that's the time the patient was brought into the hospital, but nobody know how to deal with it. But with the cardiac surgery, it's a very critical emergencies. And what I mentioned earlier is that we started surgeries from midnight to treat the acute aortic dissections. And we were able to complete the aortic artery placement and the thoracic aortic stent placement. Usually, this surgery like this is a very difficult surgeries. And after we complete this, the surgery duration is very long. We work from the midnight till the mornings. So after we all work together, and we save the patient's lives. So we are all very exhausted. And by the time you walk out of the operation room, you feel there's a light above your head because we just saved a precious lives. So like the pregnant lady who's suffering from the pulmonary embolism, she actually just gave birth to twins. So when they were get birth, and the mother is still in the hospital, and the mom feels that she couldn't catch up her breath. So at that time, the doctor thinks that something wrong about her. So actually, we performed the CPR on the ambulance, and on the way to Dalin, Ciyao, we already received a call that a pregnant lady, she suffered from the pulmonary embolism. So by the time she brought to the hospital, everybody all stay at the emergency room, and we performed CPR and defibrillation, and finally we were able to save her lives. Like at that time, our surgical departments, there was before the epidemic. And a doctor from China, he witnessed all this rescue process. He was very impressive. And in China, there were also 3 categories in China. So in the past, when he saw this kind of case, like a pulmonary embolisms, almost all of the patients, they are not able to live. So on that day, he witnessed the whole process with our treatments, and he was so impressed that our team saved the whole family's life. So as this critical departments, and for all the staff, we need to stand by 24 hours. So we need a strong teams. So the longest surgeries, like the surgery lasts over 10 hours. This is very common, and it's also not healthy toward the patient, also toward the doctor. It's very difficult missions. So you need a strong teams, and they were able to save the patients, and we will not lose any lives. So in the central Taiwans, in all these areas, like more than a million populations, we only have 7 hospitals that has the surgical departments. And out of the hospitals, there only with 1 cardiosurgeons, and they all have to deal with such a critical conditions. It's a very difficult task. So when the time I come to Dalin Tzu Chi, at that time there is only 1 cardiosurgeon, and he is very helpless. He said that he is very busy. He really can have more assistance. So after when I arrive when I go to the Dalins, we will take turn to cover the other hospitals, to assist the other hospital. So as my first years of the residence, at that time, they were not able to perform the MRI chest exam. So we need to deliver the patient from this hospital to Darlings. And when the emergency ambulance rides through the Dalin Hospital, that was in the middle of nowhere, and I was very impressed. How come the hospital like this with such a high technologies equipments? And when I was grown up in Taipei, and with more than 8,000 students, and I was living in a city, and I really want to live in a countryside. And Dalin Tzu Chi is actually located in the countryside, and it's in the middle of nowhere, but it can perform such a great surgeries like Taidong, Hualien. They're also, and the hospital is also located in cities. But it's so amazing that Dalin located in such a suburb area, and they were able to perform such an advanced surgery. So I really appreciate the Master Zheng Yan, who can build such a hospital that we can protect patient here. And in our cardiosurgery, we have 5 doctors, the cardiosurgeons, and with all the teams work together. If we have to perform the surgery for a long time, we can take turn to cover each other's. Not just one person perform the surgery all by himself with no assistant. So we have a great team that is very important, and we also have a very good equipment. This is the caster rooms, and he set up this caster room that we need to expand the castration rooms. and with all this high-tech facilities. So in this hybrid operation room, we were able to perform the surgery, perform the diagnosis, and to save life within times. So in central Taiwan, actually, Dalin Ciji is the first hospital that we can perform the transcaster aortic valve emplacement, TAVI. So this is actually the most advanced surgeries. And at that time, we had the equipment like this, and we will recruit more cardiac surgeons. At that time, by the time I attended Dalin Ciji, there were 2 cardiac surgeons, and later on, the other one left. So we recruit more and more people to join the cardiac surgical departments. So transcasters, artery aortic valve implantations, we don't need to perform the operations. We can, through the femoral arteries, to perform the transcasters, cardiosurgeries, and we can also place a stent to dilate the narrow arteries of the coronary artery bypass. And without the big incision, we can lower the surgical risk. So while we perform the TAVI surgeries, and usually we're dealing with the urgent critical patients, and the patient usually, the traditional operation, they will have a big incisions and they need long time to recoveries. Especially for the patients suffer from the aortic stenosis, usually the patients are very old and they cannot stand the operations, the traditional operations. And because he's suffering from the aortic stenosis and the recovery is very slow, and nobody was dare to give him an operation because he's too old and it's too risky to perform the operations. So to treat this disease is really challenging, and later on his condition is getting more and more severe, and maybe a couple of years later, with the new technologies, the patient will be more willing to receive the surgeries. So with this kind of surgery, usually the insurance won't cover, and with a valve, it costs more than $100 million, and not much patient can afford it. And actually, this operation required to have a hybrid operation room, and all the doctor need to be certified as a TAVI surgeon. So at least, actually, I think that we can apply for the hospital that can train for these techniques. And lots of the medical center, they don't really have such a techniques, and we are actually the local hospitals. So I was encouraged that everybody search for the information all together, and we would like to build up the hybrid operation rooms. And the sponsor, they don't really support us because they think it's not doable. They all worry about whether this was success or not. So we keep putting the efforts. We also create a study groups because this is very advanced surgery. We combine the surgical departments and the cardiologists and the radiologists. We just combine all departments, everybody work together, and we work all trained, And in 2016, we successfully performed the first patient with the TAVI surgery, and the patient is over 80 years old, and he sit down. He said that even he sit down to take a bath, he feel like it's difficult to breathe, and his family also worried that he cannot. It could be very risky for him to do operations, but through the new advance, that the family agreed him to receive the surgeries. And the patient also qualified for the health insurance coverage. So after the surgery, actually his recovery period is very short. And for the traditional operation, the incision usually very big or is taking time to recoveries. But our surgery just through the femoral artery and the very small incision, and the surgery only take within an hour. And when he was brought into the intensive care units, he can walk, he's skin conscious, he even can walk after 1 hour. So when he discharged from the hospital, his family is so happy that his mom can breathe normally, and they really very grateful. So this is the very first case that we performed TAVIs. So in 2018, when we first starting this TAVI surgeries, at that time we need to have the specialists from overseas to give us lessons to train us, and they also give us a list how to become a qualified TAVI surgeries teams. So we are the first hospital among Tzu Chi hospital that can perform TAVI independently. And what you see from the screen is a hybrid operation room 2.0. In Dalin, I really appreciate everybody's support that we can have the brand new hybrid operation room. We can perform more exams. So till now, we already complete 16 cases of the TAVI surgeries. We started actually in 2016, but because it costs too much money. But last year, after the health insurance covered the expense, so now we have more cases that need the TAVI surgeries. And health insurance actually have their indication. The patient has to be the high risk patient and with such as aortic stenosis. Not all of the patients they are qualified as a high risk patients that could get the health insurance covers. So for the lower risk patient, we also have to say of something to help them. So we will perform the minimally invasive surgeries. Earlier we talked about the transcasters, and the traditional operation you need bigger incisions, but the minimally invasive surgery we only need the small incisions, and the one is small, so we have a lot of surgical instrument to perform the minimally aortic valve replacements. And the caster is about 0.5 centimeters. Such as this patient, he's 81 years old, he's old. But when he arrived at our hospital, he heard about that we were able to perform this transcaster valve implantations. And the patient is 81 years old, but he actually looks pretty healthy, but he only suffers from the valve problems, but he doesn't have another chronic disease. But he only had this the cardiac valve problems. So I tell the patients even you're more than 80 years old, but I think you're in a very good health condition. If you like to perform the hobbies, you're probably not able to pass the insurance coverage because your risk is not high enough. So you need to perform the traditional operation, or you need to cover your own expense to perform the topic surgeries. Or maybe we can perform the other minimally invasive surgeries with a small incision that you can recover faster. So he discussed with his family, and maybe this is doable. So we performed this minimally aortic valve implantations, and the window is small, but we were able to fix the valve and to replace a new valve for him. So what we talk about the artery stenosis, what is called a stenosis? The valve is like a doorway to your heart. So when during the heart construction, the door need to open to let the blood flow into your blood. And so the valve need to close when the blood flow into the heart. This is what the function of the valves. And the cardiac stenosis, that means the valve is not functioning very well. So the patient often feel chest tightness or chest pains. So if the circulation is not working function normally, the patient could collapse within minutes. So the process, so the syndrome start to appear, then we can treat it with the medicine first. But sometimes the medication doesn't work, and in that case, we will need to perform the surgery to replace the valve. So we do the minimally invasive surgery to do a valve replacements. And I did not. So the recovery situation, the recovery is very fast, and we can also perform the transcatheter mitral valve repairs. And the mitral valve is actually a back door of your heart. During the construction, the front door has to open and the back door has to close. And what happens a lot is what we call the mitral valve disease. Is always the mitral valve that having the problems. And besides the traditional operations, we can also perform the minimally invasive surgery that can repair the mitral valve. And after we fix the mitral valve, the infection is it can last longer and it's more efficiency compared with TAVIs. And there's another patient, 22 years old, and after he was vaccinated, he felt his heartbeat is very fast. So he came to the hospital to check, and we found out that he has acute mitral valve disease. And in the future, he will suffer from the heart failure. It's on the timing matters. So we discussed with his family that we can perform the minimally invasive surgery. We can also perform the mitral valve repairments. And for the young persons, and to perform the valve repairment, there's a separate types of the valve. The mechanic valves, they can last longer, but for your whole life, you need to take the medication. The thrombolytic agents. So you need to take this kind of medication for the rest of his life. Such, for example, if he lives 70 years old, he probably have the 50 years. He has to keep taking the medication. But for the young generation, their dialysis is very fast. So for them, for the young generation, we really recommend it to perform the bowel repairments. Through the bowel repairments, the patient do not need to take the medications, and we perform the minimally invasive mitral valve repairments, and the effect is very good. And his parent is also very grateful about these surgeries. And for the coronary bypass surgery, we combine with cardiology. We can perform the graft, for the aortic stent graft placements. So after we did the bypass surgery, now the cardiologists, they can perform the stent graft placements because there are 3 main arteries in our heart, and we can fix 2 arteries, and the other artery we can place a stent to support it. So there's a hybrid operation versus the Da Vinci surgeries. Actually, the incision is about the same. This is in the Stanford hospitals, and their incision wound is very similar to our wound. It's very comparable to the hospital in state. So in Dalin Hospital, we have the critical care units, and also there's minimally invasive surgery centers with Chief Zhang, and we also have another department as a peripheral vascular unit. So we are planning to apply to become a training hospital as a cardiac agents, cardiac departments, and we also planning to perform the heart transplants. And we really appreciate everybody, all the Tzu Chi patients, all the Tzu Chi brothers and sisters to support our teams. And we have lots of equipment, and we need to buy lots of expensive equipments, especially with this medical environments. It costs a lot of money to pay for this equipment. So we appreciate all departments and all volunteers' helps that can support us to become a place that can protect lives. Thank you, everyone. We really appreciate the doctor's help, doctor's sharings, and with all this knowledge that if you ever heard about this. So after you heard about this sharings, if you agree with this, you're impressed with this, please give him a big hand. So somebody gave the feedbacks, and she said, and there's a feedback talk about the Dalin Tzu Chi cardiac surgeons, and talk about the heart disease, the prevention and the treatment. I feel that's very helpful. And the feedback from Shanghai, Sister Hong Chihuan, you think that Tzu Chi Hospital, we are fully equipped. We have a very advanced equipment with a very talented doctors, and also their couples. And he and his wife, they're so impressive. They're amazing. And how do we? There's a feedback that asks, how do we protect our heart functions? Actually, if you work hard, then that's a way to train your heart. That's the way to protect your heart. So a lot of times, if the brother and sister ask me how to protect our hearts, and actually exercise is the best way to protect hearts. Like when you're working at the recycles place, you doing the recycle job, this is also the way to exercise yourself. And also the vegetarianism. As a vegetarians, it's also the way to protect our hearts. And when you eat outside, usually they're greasy, they're salty, and there's too much oil, too much sodium. So by the time you're buying food from outside, you might want to drain it with hot water to reduce the oil and the salt. So during your daily life, and if you have the hypertension or high blood pressure or high cholesterol, and nowadays the medication can treat all of these problems. But people ask me if I suffer from high blood pressure, do I need to take medication for all my life? And I would like to tell you that actually you can change your lifestyles to improve your conditions. And there was a couple, he has hypertension, and the doctor tell him to take more rest and to exercise and to eat the low sodium food. And by the time he first entered the hospital, he suffered from a very high blood pressures. And nowadays, we can have before the people can live in the very fresh air environments and they eat the organic food. So actually, that nowadays we can find a lot of dangerous factors that will danger your heart. So I recommend everyone that can they can control your food and do more exercise, and you can protect your hearts without the medications. It's not helping that you take in the health supplements. A lot of patients ask me, I bought this health supplements. Is that helpful for my heart disease? And I tell them it's not really. When I look at the package, it doesn't. And it's not really helpful, and it doesn't have the CNS improvements. So actually, I'm not sure what the effect is. So for nowadays, with this new technologies, a lot of things, a lot of food, a lot of medication that was certified by the governments. So you don't need to be afraid of taking medications and keep a good living habits that you can protect your hearts. And I would like to ask the doctors, and there was a feedback from in Dalin Dr. Zhang Jianhua. He's a master to do minimally invasive surgeons. He lead everybody to work together and to give the patient reborn their lives and to pass out the Dharma series. And everybody was so touching, and we really appreciate your feedback. And we also appreciate the message and also this feedback from the other persons. He treat patient and he also treat patient's heart. He's saving multiple lives. He's so talented and so kindness. and it's a very mercy Dr. Zhang. And his speech gave us a lot of knowledge, and we really appreciate your sharing. And hopefully we will have another chance to listen to your sharings. Okay, next.
In the next, we're going to share about the positive feedback. And there are four positive feedback from China, Kunsan, Sister Guo Meiyun. We meet our friends online to open our hearts. From Thailand, city volunteer Lu Meiyun share about how they recruit translation and interpretation team very fast and allow the people around the world to be able to understand city from the sharing online, and they know how to learn the Master Zheng Yan's Dharma teachings. And it's really not very easy to recruit so many volunteers in such a short time. And this is the sharing from last year. They share about the deputy CEO shared that he had an experience that he was saved from because operation by Dr. Wang Zhihong because of the coronary atherectomy. This is a very advanced technique used in the medical field because Dr. Wang Zhihong's help, he was able to save his life and serve more people around the world. And another feedback is about the doctors, the superintendent, Dr. Lin. He shared about the his experience in Tzu Chi. He confirmed many difficulties in leading Tzu Chi medical missions, but he still managed to overcome obstacles and be able to share his experience with medical professions and serve more patients. And they serve with Tzu Chi culture to the not only treat people's illness, but also help people to elevate their to enrich their mind and help them to calm their mind and also learn Dharma teachings from Master Zheng Yan. And the sharing from Beijing, Huang Hua, she said that every Wednesday morning, as she would open up the room link to listen to Teacher Meiyun's voice. It's become her routines every Wednesday morning. And the first, she was very touched because the sharing from the CEO from the Indonesia, and they built up the medical hospital in Indonesia within a year. It was very not a very easy task, and they not only offer very advanced treatment in the hospital in Indonesia, they also promote Jingshi aphorism in their hallways. And also all of you are very welcome to share your positive feedback online. And sister, and they share, there is there is a Jingsi heartland you are able to find at online, and there are we are going to upload your positive feedback on this Jingsi heartland, and you will be able to find your sharing at Jingsi heartland online. And this is just like Master Jian has said, encourage us that we don't be afraid to share positive thinkings and great beautiful stories in the world, so that our children in the future will be able to learn great things that we create, our legacies that pass down to our next generations. And today we are going to do the exercise with ball. And just like the doctors say that if we want to live a healthy life, we need to do exercise. Hello, good morning. We are going to invite all of you to stand up. And please stand up and let's do exercise together.
们先把球放在椅子上。好，接着呢，一样是我们的洗手健康操。目前我们一样要乖乖的戴上您的口罩哦。我们请雪玉师姐给我们洗手健康操。
朋友们，你们准备好了吗？伸出你的双手，戴上你的口罩，大家一起来！
一起来！水龙头啊，开又关，洗洗双手要擦干。吃东西前勤洗手，回到家也要洗刷刷。眼耳口鼻不乱摸，不乱摸，不乱摸，不乱摸。洗手记得7步骤，内外夹攻大力丸。人多时候戴口罩，进入密闭空间也戴口罩。不要用时会折好，乖乖的放口袋书包。眼耳口鼻不乱摸，不乱摸，不乱摸，不乱摸。洗手记得7步骤，内外夹攻大力丸。拱手不握手，保护你也保护我。
朋友们，你们学会了吗？我们准备要加速喽！
加速喽！水龙头啊，开又关，洗洗双手要擦干。吃东西前勤洗手，回到家也要洗刷刷。眼耳口鼻不乱摸，不乱摸，不乱摸，不乱摸。洗手记得7步骤，内外夹攻大力丸。人多时候戴口罩，进入密闭。
And thank you, okay, our activity team. I think after we do some exercises, it's good for our hearts, right? Right, Dr. Zhang? Of course, right? Okay. And you were sharing, Dr. Zhang has a lot of positive feedbacks online, and you can take a look here. And we have Huang Ruixia, and she says that Dr. Zhang, you talk about the heart problems, and it's easy for us to understand. Okay, and it's easy for us to understand about the valves, right? And we know more today because of your presentation, and we learn very much. And we have Jinshu from Thailand saying, thank you, Dr. Zhang, and you are friendly and you are considerate. And we are so lucky to have you in Dalin Tzu Chi. And we are happy, okay, because, we don't have to worry about our heart problems anymore. And we have Yao Suyun from China saying that, okay, and then when she see teacher Meiyun, who is under like a quarantine, and then now she doesn't have to worry anything now because she sees like Meiyun is healthy now. And here we also have messages from, okay, and this is a message in English. And she says, I'm grateful to learn so much from online study group Kaohsiung. And we watched the drama, and this is something I have to do. And let's just get wide, and I get more knowledge. And it enriches my life beyond words. And this is about, she learns something from online study group, and she learned very much on like Da'ai movies. And she also learns very much. Wherever you are, ladies and gentlemen, just, okay, leave a message to us through your cell phone. This is a very big encouragement for us, right? And teacher Meiyun also says something online. And she says that Dalin Tzu Chi Hospital is the hospital that does the presentation in here, online study group Kaohsiung for 5 or 6 times a year. And Yao Sijin says like Qiuyu and Dr. Zhang, you are wonderful. And now we have more positive feedbacks. And let's take a look here. And we have Zhou Rixin from Beijing. And she left a message about the Yunlin Douliu team, and she is really touched about the Douliu team, okay? And they really care very much about all the cases that need help, right? And the care recipients just stayed in a shabby houses, and the raindrops will just get in, and she also learned that on the roof of that like a recipient's house, like is a very kind of a big snake there. However, Tzu Chi volunteers were fearless and they care very carefully about the care recipient's home. This is touching. And we have Yao Suying from Guizhou saying that, okay, through like tiny actions, then we can learn great Dharma. And the Shijing and the Wenjing from Beijing, okay, shared that how to strengthen our muscle strength, right? And whenever we hear like a Wenjing and the Shijing sharing a lot to like get more health, and we really learned very much. And I'd like to say thank you very much. Okay, then you have a good life in your future. And on that day, they did some kind of demonstration to do some exercise, and they just followed up, and they trained their core muscle strength, right, to avoid like a back pain. And not only that, they have to also cultivate a habit of like a daily eating something, and this is very important. And we have Jiao Qi from Shandong, China, and she was very impressed about the Ding Xueyu's sharing between the affinity of between like disciples and the Master Zheng Yan. And when Master Zheng Yan was young, and she learned the Buddhism really kind of carefully and diligently, and she stayed at all like lay practitioners or the temples just to learn the Dharma. And she says she's super lucky that she has a master as her like a teacher in life, and she really want to follow up Mr. Zheng Yan's footprint and sees the great affinity between her and Mr. Zheng Yan. And we have Wei Hai Wang Hui, and she talked about the life education on like September 21st. And we invited Li Peishan from Tzu Chi University, who says that this is a very important thing to have the life education. And Wang Hui is also a language teacher, and she says she's really happy to learn something different from her own field. And language teaching is kind of is a knowledge that to teach students learn the text and the glossary, and through life education, and she learned something really similar to his or to her own idea. And because she says like learning the glossary and the ancient characters is also part of the life, so she is kind of full of positive energy now. And now is the next session, and we have our second lecturer, and I think you know him, right? Okay, and he came over, okay, and share the same topic last year at the online study group. And the topic is very similar, and he is going to talk about tell Tzu Chi stories with academic languages part 2. And let's take a look at the films here. And diligently and carefully, they prepared the meals under the pandemic. And we do everything just to encourage everybody to take vegetarianism. Okay, and this film was filmed in 2021 during the session and the forum of the thinking of Master Yizhen. And today we will have Professor Lin Jiande, and he talks about the Buddhism in the world, and is it proper that we adopt vegetarianism during the pandemic? And let's also take the second film. And this is a second film for you. And it is 2020. And every year, the religion and the humanity department will have a camp every year. And after listening to Master Zheng Yan's like Dharma, and we feel joy us. And we invite like a Tzu Chi Institute of Religion and Humanity and abode of masters and have this camp. And he talks not only Buddhism, and he talks about his views to be implemented in the Saha world. And we really want to implement the Buddhism in the world. And we focus on how to focus their mind and do something for the human beings and for Buddhism. And we really want to encourage people to spread the Dharma and do something beneficial to our society. And this is a film taken in 2020 and during a camp of attaining Buddhahood. And what we have done in Tzu Chi is all shown there. And let's take a look at the last film here. And so Lotus Sutra has a very specialty in the characters, in the calligraphy, and also in its sutra illustration. And this is very wonderful that we can turn the sutra into the illustration. And in ancient times, it is a really wonderful thing to just spread the Dharma. And it shows a compassion of the great vehicle Buddhism. And the southern branch of the National Palace Museum collects the Lotus Sutra. And I listen to the Dharma talk every morning, and this is a very, very good thing for us to read the sutra by ourselves, right? And it talks about how we practitioners should do. And I say we have to do everything diligently. So that's all for our films. And through such a forum and the presentation, and we can learn Buddhism through illustration, through art, and we know the meaning of our lives, right? And what I shared with you today is Dr. Lin Jiande, and he also came over here last year. And Lin Jiande has a lot of guided reading for us before we begin our presentation in Buddhism on Dai TV. And let's not talk about really literally in Buddhism. I don't think people like that or understand that. And what we want to do is just we speak in prose language and spread Buddhism, the Dharma. And today, besides Lin Jiande, and we will have some of his students come on here. So let's welcome Lin Jiande and his graduate students through our slogan. I like to be with you because you have a positive energy. Okay, Dr. Lin, please. Okay, Qiuyu and Meiyun and every volunteer online. Can you hear me? Okay, I'm very happy that I can share something with you online. And if I want to go to your online study group, Kaohsiung, then I have to wait for a long time. And this study group is really remarkable for like Tzu Chi volunteers. And I'm very honored to be invited here, and I meet you online. It is very good. And Tzu Chi University is founded by Master Zheng Yan, and it is one of Master Zheng Yan's major missions. And now we are the Institute of Religion and Humanity, and it is a code with what Master Zheng Yan's teach is all about. And what are we doing in our institute? And this is the presentation that I am going to show you. And how do we pass on the Dharma lineage and spread the Jingshi Dharma lineage? And in our Institute of Religion and Humanity, and this is our mission, then we have to tell Tzu Chi stories with academic languages. And we are a graduate school, and this is our mission to spread the Buddha's teaching through academic languages. This is really our big mission and a responsibility. And to tell well the Tzu Chi stories has like two aspects. And number one, how do we tell the story well? And number two, how do we tell the stories completely? Because Tzu Chi has so many beautiful and touching stories. To just perform them well, this is our mission. And in 2019, then we have a Tzu Chi section. And why? Because we want to tell stories of Tzu Chi well. And Tzu Chi stories are full of beauty and compassion. And we have to introduce you about how beautiful Tzu Chi is. And this is a part of our mission here. And we have many beautiful Tzu Chi stories. And they are all the good sources for us for the research. And we have the spirituality about how Master Zheng Yan founded the Tzu Chi Foundation, and how we understand all the details of all the stories are part of the research goals. And behind all the stories, and do they symbolize anything? And do the readers or students feel touched after all the stories read? And here are all the research sources that we are working on. Well, and let's open up a theory and the model in our institute. For example, what is a cashful work? And this is a model after we do the relief work. And we take care about both the disaster areas and the refugees' life. I think this is a very new model for the Buddhism. And it is a very, very good role model in Buddhism. And we want to let everybody know about it through doing good deeds. And we want to tell everyone how after through doing good deeds, they can just become a practitioner. And I think for Dharma lineage of Tzu Chi, and we have like a Tzu Chi Buddhism, and we also have Zen. And why do we have the Tzu Chi knowledge? And because we are the first generation of Master Zheng Yan, like a Tzu Chi Dharma lineage. So we say we are the pioneers. And in our institute, and we have to follow up such development and do such research. Why are we doing that? I think we have four goals for you. Number one, then we have to pass on the new experience to the next generation. We have 4 major missions and 8 footprints, and we have to spread this and cultivate talents and tell the world and spread it through the world. And we want everybody know about what the 4 major missions and 8 footprints are through international forums, and do introductions and let the people know more about it. And maybe people may understand it or misunderstand it. And through researches, and we want to have a mutual understanding of such a concepts. And we explain and we really do something. And it is a kind of a demonstration about what the Tzu Chi Buddhism is all about. As a Tzu Chi volunteer, this is a major mission for us. So, the Institute of Religion and Humanity of Tzu Chi is all based on Master Zheng Yuan's teachings. And we have to purify the society and purify people's minds. And this is our basic concept. And through the implementation of our faith, and we clarify that we can purify people's heart. And this is so-called implementation. And this is the goal that we really heal the world. And we help people, and we comfort people in suffering. And everything we do is all based on Master Zheng Yuan's teaching. And here in the picture, and you will see this is our campus in Hualien. And we are just near the central mountain of Taiwan. So you will see the scenery is pretty good here. And it is really inspiring, right? And nearby are Tzu Chi, University of Technology, and the Tzu Chi elementary school and the junior high school, senior high school. And this is the space in a picture that students and teachers learn together. And on the right, the picture, you see Xie Jiaxun and the students having discussions together. And on the left, you will see masters from Jin's abode who just come over and share their idea with the students. And it is a kind of harmonious environment. And here is our break room. And the break room looks really comfortable. And the students and the teachers can just take a break there. And the goal of our education is to combine the Tzu Chi Buddhism and the idea, so we can just cultivate the talents and do their best to benefit the world. And like He Risheng almost offers and opens new courses and curriculum in our university. And the students can just use our resources really efficiently. And if you want to know more information about our institute, then you can just come over here, and we will invite a lot of staff members or volunteers in Tzu Chi and share their wonderful experience here. And they are the wonderful teaching resources here. And in our institute, and of course, we have great professors, and we have professors with a background of anthropology and religious teachings, and they are all very professional in their fields, right? And if you want to know more about them, please check out our website, and they will have a kind of introduction for you. And we design all the curriculum through healing and caring in Tzu Chi. And this is the experience of Tzu Chi. And we really promote such kind of modern ideas in Buddhism. And in this picture, and we show you students taking pictures with masters in the abode. And they really combine Buddhism and the curriculum altogether through this, right? And I think religious belief is very similar to the introduction of Buddhism in our institute. And we introduce what is the right belief. And then we will introduce to students, besides like a belief, and we still have to put them into action through a lot of disaster retribution in Tzu Chi. And they are the real experience. Okay, so this is a part of the implementation. And let's talk about the healing part. And after we do the distribution in the disaster areas, and how we calm and comfort all the refugees, and this is a part of the experience that we need to share with the students. And students may just share ideas with social workers and the volunteers and even the masters from the abode. And of course, they will have a chance to also convey or express their love in all the institutes, like nursing homes. And everything we do is all based on the Jinsi Dharma lineage. We combine the 4 major missions, and we apply the resources very well and efficiently, and we combine the study and the research and also the implementation together. And in this picture, and we will have a 2-day and 1 night a meditation camp. And meditation is not only sitting there, and it is also a lesson for us to calm down and think about the right goal and the right approach for themselves, right? And we have a Tzu Chi Buddhism, an institute, and Master Zheng Yuan just in person came over and give out her best blessings here. And this is education and the research center for Tzu Chi Buddhism in this picture. And you are very welcome to come over and take a look. And this is our institute. And this is our environment. Then we have very, very abundant book collections. And when Master Zheng Yuan came over to our institute, and she said that she expects that everybody can go back to the very, very first aspirations of Tzu Chi. And that aspiration causes us to have the Tzu Chi environment and the Jinsi Dharma lineage. And the education is a way for us to pass down such a thing to you. And we also cooperated with the Yizhen Education Foundation, and in order to cultivate more talents to pass on the Dharma lineage. And we hope to do 2 things. Number 1 is to spread the Dharma for everybody to know about the Tzu Chi. And number 2, we have to learn something in ourselves, right? Okay. And that means that we have to spread the Dharma outward, and inward we learn something and cultivate ourselves. And this is the goal for us. So this is a very, very important part that we can just connect to all the part of like a Tzu Chi missions. Well, Lin Jiande, I think there's a lag, okay, and your internet is disconnected, right? Okay, now, no problem now. And I mentioned that we do the Tzu Chi mission, okay, and we tell Tzu Chi stories through academic languages. And education mission now requires every Tzu Chi people to pass down the teachings. Okay. Okay, please wait a moment. All right. So please put your PowerPoint in full screen. And you are running out of time, please. Okay, please put it in full screen. And I mentioned that if you study in our institute, and it is a way to support our Tzu Chi major missions, and Hualien is a great place, and we have a wonderful environment for you, so it is a good place to study here. So it is a chance for you to calm yourself down and read and do the research. So our environment here is very good to study Buddhism. And besides, we have a lot of Tzu Chi volunteers in Hualien, which means that we really have a good people combining here all together, doing good things, being companions. So again, you are very welcome to come over and study here in the Tzu Chi Institute of Religion and Humanity. And we will just have one more interview with students if you're interested in, on December 19th through January 6th, 2023. And if you really want to experience our Tzu Chi stories and really put it into implementation, sincerely, you are welcome to study here. Thank you. Thank you. And later on, we will have teachers and graduate students in our institute, and they will do their sharings with you. And let's pass on the time to teacher Jian Wenling.
Okay, now let's invite our professor, Miss Jian Wenling. She's going to share her experience teaching in the Tzu Chi Institute of Our Religions and Humanity. Hello, everybody. Good morning, everyone. I am Jian Wenling from the Tzu Chi Institute of Religions and Humanity. It's my pleasure to introduce our department to you. You know, there's a lot of stories from Tzu Chi to be told. But what we are going to do is use the academic language to tell the story. We're gathering everybody's story and by the academic way and to pass the story and organize it to a Tzu Chi school. And then the 4 main missions with 8 endeavors passed by our Master Zhang Yan's preach are really meaningful. And what is the difference between Tzu Chi Foundation and the Red Cross or other NGO? Besides this story, if there doesn't mean anything practically, then how can we encourage all the Tzu Chi volunteers to practice? For the Buddhist, for the human beings, is our Master Zhang Yan's vow, and also the purpose of Mr. Zhang Yan to pass the Dharma. So by the academic language, we can tell the heart. Besides the good deeds, they also has the know-how to practice by the educational theory and academic way. So this is the main idea how we can lead our industry, our Tzu Chi work to lead the more volunteer to the Bodhisattva's way. So our department provides the students not just the Buddhist theories, also combines with practical. So students, they join our course, they can do the research and the practical and do the implementary. So we combine the theory and the practical together. Therefore, I would like to invite all of you to join our team and to achieve the goal in Bodhisattva's ways by learning the theory and the practical. Now we are going to invite another student. She's from Kaohsiung, and she would like to share us her experience by studying Tzu Chi Institute of Religious and Humanity. Hello, everyone. It's my pleasure to share you and to promote the department. Do you like the beautiful environment in Hualien while you calm down and think about the goals of your life? Maybe sometimes you think about when will you leave this world and what will you be after you leave this world. If you have so many questions that like me, then I would like to suggest you to find your answers here in our department, because we cannot live religions. What is religions? Religions is the purpose of the main goal of our life, and is also the education of our life. So religious is not a big secret. It's not complicated either. It's just the ways how we live our life. So if you're interested in philosophy, the religions and humanity, then you're welcome to study here. And what can we do after we graduated from Tzu Chi Institute of Religions and Humanity? You can choose which group you are going to join, and after you finish your course, you can join the volunteer works, and you can teach in the school and can do so many meaningful works too. Now we would like to introduce another student, Mr. Wang Yaoming. He's sharing why I will study in the Tzu Chi Institute of Religions and Humanity. Actually, I would like to share it because in 2013, while I go to join the Kaohsiung online study group, I get a book card. It says that we have to, is the journey begins. It's a diligently carry out faith, vows, and practice. So this encouraged me to go on study. And after I joined that activities, I see a card from my friends, and I see it's a promotion about the Tzu Chi Institute of Religious and Humanity. And a few days later, some other friends recruitment of the Tzu Chi Institute of Religious and humanity. And accidentally, and somebody sent me a link, and this is the third time that I get information that the recruitment, the application of Tzu Chi Institute of Religions and Humanity. So wow, it's really incredible for me. All these informations are telling me that what I should go on my study here. So I would like to share you, do you still remember what Mr. Zhang Yuan tell us? She said, all of us, we need to look back our life and all the time, and we have to take an inventory on our lives. So if you think you are too old, classmates, we have the students just graduated and we more than 70 years old. It's never too late to learn. And we have our classmates are from all different professions, but we have the same purpose. And while you join this course, you are going to take a lot of course to learn so many multiple courses. You are able to learn the main ideal of the life, and we have dormitory, we have the scholarship you can apply, and during the weekends you can join the practical of our volunteer to the recycle station. So until now, I think I answered all of the question you may have. Are you become more faithful to join us? I would like to ask you, how many times you've seen the information, the recruitment of our Tzu Chi Institute of Religions and Humanity? It is your chance now to join us. I'm grateful that I have the chance to share this to you. The right thing, you should just do the right thing. Thank you for your sharing. Thank you for the sharing from our chief and the two classmates sharing. Besides, we have two students here today to do the promotion of our Tzu Chi Institute of the Religions and Humanity. Now, I would like to thank you. We have the good feedback immediately from Japan. It's really nice to pass the Tzu Chi's nice story by the academic language. And how lucky we are have the chance to learn all of these informations from all this knowledge from Tzu Chi school and the Tzu Chi Buddhism. It's really the good news and the good deeds to the people all over the world. Thanks for volunteer our Director Lin Jiande's sharing and the sharing of two classmates that the Q&A is really helpful for all of us who we are interested in studying, to go on the study in Tzu Chi Institute of Religions and Humanity. I'm glad that once I have attended the activities leading by our director, Mr. Lin Jiande, I have learned a lot during that experience. Thank you for all of your good feedback. All of your feedbacks today to our Kaohsiung online study group is great encouragement for all of us in our team. By using the academic language to tell the Tzu Chi story in a proper way. It's very nice. We can see the classmates on webcam and on live here. And I think most of us, like me, before we have the chance to be volunteer in Tzu Chi Foundation, actually we have no chance to learn the theory and the implement of Buddhists. So it's really nice that we have the chance to learn more. Thank you all to join us today, the teachers, students, and friends. It's really nice to hear your sharing from Tzu Chi Institute of Religions and Humanity. We are grateful to have you here today. Now I'm going to show you the QR code. If you're interested and you would like to apply for the course, here is the QR code, and you can find more information. And the date, you can start to apply it the date from December. Now, everybody is important and everybody has its own talent. So now, actually, I would like to invite the next volunteer. She has done a lot to help.
And Sister Qiuyu from Thailand. And in 2019, in Cambodia, there's a severe flood. Because the Thailand is very close to Cambodia, so Tzu Chi volunteer from Thailand went to Cambodia to help relief work at the after the flood. This is a video from the distribution at Cambodia, and Sister Qiuyu from Thailand, she in 2020 in Taoyuan, and the dragon dance show in Taoyuan for the Chinese New Year celebration, and there's a game at the recycling station. And when we look up to the sky, we need to respect and pay our gratitude to the world, and we look down to the earth to cherish the resources from the Mother Earth. And Sister Qiuyu, she came to Taiwan, and when she traveled to Taiwan, she seized all her time to participate in all kinds of city activities. In 2020, when the pandemic broke out in the world, Sister Qiuyu, she also used her ability that when she do to help people, she visited a underprivileged person, and she encouraged her to do the paintings for sale so that she could help. Although she needs help, but she is so generous. She is willing to do her best to help people who are even suffering more than she does. Sister Wu Jingshou volunteers. She is a Tzu Chi volunteer. She suffered from lung cancer, but she also could work as a Tzu Chi volunteer to help the people who are in need. Like Master Zhang Yan has to teach us that we need to plant the seed in the blessing field, and we could. Although she's a lung cancer patient, that she could also help others. And that's we are very familiar with Sister Qiuyu from Thailand because she is a member in our online study group. And we would like to meet up with you because you have positive energy. And Sister Qiuyu from Thailand, please go ahead. Dear Dharma Master Zhang Yan, and please, dear Dharma Master Zhang Yan, and our great friends from all over the world. I'm wearing the uniform from Tzu Chi University because from September this year, I became the research the students at the Institute of Religion and Humanity from Tzu Chi University. I started my slashes. I could work many jobs in my life to make my life very meaningful. And welcome all of you to join me to wear this same uniform. If you feel very motivated and very encouraging after you listen to the director from Institute of Religion and Humanity, after you hear the listen to the director's sharing, if you feel very motivated, please take actions. And Tzu Chi Institute of Religion and Humanity is a very warm, a big family. Welcome all of you to become my classmates. At first, I started as the main graphic design and editor, starting from year 2020. I've already editing 600,000 positive sharing, and this March I could finally have a team because a very young and beautiful Tzu Chi volunteer Hong Yuting, she joined our team and she need to work during the daytime, and after work she need to take care of a very young daughter, and every time she have to wait until her daughter put her daughter in bed, and she started her graphic design and editing work. So after she finished her work, editing work, it's already in during the after the midnight. It's very touching when we finish our graphic design and editing to see people's positive feedback that we could put online. We've already editing over 800,000 words of articles from volunteers sharing. We wanted to put our positive sharing online, so we find the best place to put our positive sharing online is Jingshi Heartland from our public relations department. And we didn't know that there's a tremendous work need to do in the backstage. After we have spend a lot of time to communicate with the technical group to help us to build up infrastructure in the backstage. And finally, we established our website. We have our official interpretation and written translation web page. It's very touching to see we finally have our own web page online. It's a sub-page from Jingshi Heartland, and there are 19 languages from all of our sharings. At first, I thought that I'm the only volunteer to. At the beginning, I thought that I could only recruit 2 other members. Then we could get all our work done. And but after we upload our first Cambodian articles online, and we heard that from Brother Xie Mingxun, he said that all of our Cambodian translation are off from the original meanings because wordings, because the computer now that's very smart. It would the computer would edit our wordings. So the problem is that arise from because we don't understand Cambodian language, so we could not do the editing after the computer edited our wordings on its own. So if we don't understand the language, we cannot make sure, we are not able to make sure that all the information are correct and to align with the original sharings from volunteer. So we have to we have to apologize to Teacher Meiyun that we need to invite volunteer to understand how to operate a computer. They also understand the other language. So we need to recruit more volunteers that we worked together online, and we need to learn how to operate a computer and learn how to upload our articles and positive sharings online using other language. We also need to spend 2 hours to explain how to operate in the backstage of our website. So the interpretation in online and the written translation could smoothly upload to the website. And so very fast we have a Spanish, a Cambodian language, and Malaysian, and also Thai language, and the Tamil language has articles and our sharings already uploaded online. And very fast in the future, we are expecting 19 or more languages written translation could be uploaded online so that our friends around the globe can be able to learn the great stories and touching stories all over the world. And if we upload so many great story and touching information online, but no one to take a look at and read these great stories, our hard work will be in vain. So we encourage everyone to share the link of Jin's Heartland to forward this information to your friends and families, and let's take good use of the modern technology to share great stories and touching stories to promote Master Zheng Yan's teachings and great stories from great life stories from Tzu Chi volunteer. That's all. Learned. Encourage more people to join Tzu Chi and inspire more loving and greatness in people's mind, and that work on Tzu Chi Bodhisattva path. And we are, a lot of us, we have only we could only accomplish little works, but accumulate all our efforts, we can accomplish great work. And in the future, we hope that we will be able to have more sharings from more languages. And next year we are going to have, next week we are going to invite professors from Tzu Chi University, and the next week we are going to have sharing from our online interpretation from Brother Su Jihao, and we also are going to hear the a volunteer from Tzu Chi medical mission, and there is books from Jingshi bookstore, and also there is from the buckwheat and the herbal tea. And all of these products are organic and very helpful to our health. And the calendar, and it also the calendar is also promoting the Dharma lineage and Master Zhang Yuan's teaching. And there's towel gift. It's a gift box, and you can use as to share with your friends and family. And there's and the next we will see before we finish up today's sharing, and that's hear from teacher Meiyun. Oh, I didn't know that Qiuyu, Sister Qiuyu leave the very last minute to me, and I'm very grateful that Sister Qiuyu she took over my job today, and it's very she did a very great job. And you all of you are talented. Don't underestimate your talent. And I'm very grateful that all of you gave me blessings, and hope that I will gain my health back very fast. I'm very grateful for all of you. And although Brother Zhang, my husband, he is also in quarantine. He is not the technical team of our online group, but he online study group, but the technical team, the operation and technical team is very smooth. And I'm very grateful to every one of you, and I like to get together with you because you have positive energy. We don't need to have right, but we need to have influence in the world, positive influence. And hope that not only Meiyun, teacher Meiyun, and Brother John have good health, and hope all of you good health. And that's all. Go to the thank you. Oh. Thank you, everyone. Good day.
好，我们挥手，感恩线上所有的菩萨，感恩美云老师，美云老师你保重，我们下一周期待你回到主场哈，还有我们的江主任，还有线上所有的书友，然后周期待我们周三能够在一起在云端来相会。好，感恩大家，感恩。好，那我们现在要请我们的分享嘉宾，还有导读，还有活动团队，我们上2楼，跟
境界嘛是真悬啊，真期待所有天地宇宙的万法啊，会当集合来，大家人会虔诚啊。